Well,
while
definitely.
while they have
Hmm.
the question is, while they have money for very professional TV stations, and you know what I'm talking about.
Definitely, I
Okay,
do. I do. Yeah. Uh huh.
so that's the point. I mean, public sector, not only schools, even hospitals are all ignored at the moment. You go to any public
Yeah.
hospital, when you ask for something, for a simple medication, medication, I'm like, I don't know, confused. Uh,
You just get
for a,
frustrated. Just
yeah,
calm down. Calm down.
yeah. I'm like, I'm so frustrated. It's because why is that? I mean, we have to, everyone, even like our kids are responsible for this sort of, let's say, belittling the public schools. It's because when they go to
Hmm.
public schools, they try to destroy almost everything: the whiteboards,
Yeah.
the desks. They try to make all the walls as dirty as possible, but they cannot do that in a private school. They will stop
Hmm.
that student. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, and by the way, one of the colleagues said uh, that teachers at the private schools are better. In what way they are better? What is
Hmm.
the? I mean, what are the qualities that they
Or what are the
own?
filters, right? Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, what are? I mean, by the way, I can say that the teachers from public schools are way better than the private schools because they have so much experience. Okay, they can they have experience where with so many different let's say minds, because public schools,
Because
they are, yeah, they have this sort of diversity. They have many different people, but private schools only full of rich. Am I right?
well, I wouldn't say I agree with you 100%, but I mean, definitely, I would agree with. I mean, in some sense, with what you said. I mean, if we talk about politics and the politicians, definitely, I would agree with you in that sector, because I know they are trying to make business out of education, and they are trying to, they are trying to milk the people for the money. So they would do whatever just to get the money
Yeah.
out of the people. I mean, I would definitely agree with that. But for saying like teachers at public schools are better than private schools, or I mean, teachers at private schools are better than public schools, I wouldn't agree with that, because it needs a lot of filters, and like a lot of things to think about to say that. So I wouldn't say any of them are better than the other, because if we think about I mean, the older generation of teachers, we would definitely agree with that. They were not very disciplined. They were not very updated with the newest curriculum of teaching, because at that time we haven't been taught really well while we were students or pupil at school. I remember like our teachers were not informative enough. They didn't know about the newest curriculum of teaching. So all those things matter at
Zana,
the end of the
let's be honest. I'm sorry to interrupt, but at that time there was no internet. There were not like very good libraries in the town. So
I'm
how
not
would you say that teachers were not updated with these like newest methods of like, I don't know, teaching?
For the same reason you mentioned, there were no internet, no resources for them to get updated. So I'm not putting the blame on them. I know they didn't have enough resource to get updated about the curriculum of teaching. I know that. So it's not the blame on them. It's the blame on the government for not providing enough sources for those teachers. So I'm not blaming them for sure. But I would say like teachers nowadays are, I mean, I can tell they are more motivated, they are more energetic, so they are more open to like the new world, the globalization, all these kind of things. Like they are more open to get new things. They are more even open-minded, I would say. Uh, I mean, again, I would say that I'm not gonna blame them. This is not a blame on them. And if I tell you my honest idea about public schools or private schools, if I have a kid, if I have a kid, I would definitely send them to private schools, even though I disagree with the idea of having private schools,
Why
because
is
of
that? I mean, why?
because
Why?
because of the harsh fact that public schools have been ignored by the government, and at that time I wouldn't be sure about like the future of my kids. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I know, I understand, but with this, you are going to support private schools, and in this way,
Mm.
many more private schools will appear, and the reputation of public schools will basically fade away,
Yep,
and there will be no
exactly. But
more public schools eventually.
mm-hmm. So the basic question is, do you believe in free education?
Yes, I do. I totally believe in free education. You know, but by the way, why I believe in this, it's because we live in a country where people are poor, where people struggle with their income. I mean, basically, we live in a country. We live in a low income country.
That's true. But do you think when education is for free, it has its own value?
It should have, but the
Hmm.
problem is that those
But does it have?
who at the moment, no. I agree that, for example,
Yeah.
I work at a public university. I try my best
Mm.
to serve, to bring all the, let's say, values and reputation back to public, let's say, titles.
Yeah.
But I cannot do it alone unless I have others with me. It's because there are people who are not loyal enough, who don't work, let's say, well. Basically,
Mm.
they just simply come to the class with all the instructions they have taught 10 years ago, and
Yeah.
they start just lecturing and lecturing and lecturing, and there are no new methods of teaching.
Mm.
Basically, they don't want to be tired. Simple. Okay? Plain.
I see. I see the point. When I'm asking this question, it doesn't mean that I don't believe in free education. If I didn't believe it, I wouldn't have done all these volunteer things. Like, even like we have been friends. I mean, personally,
Yeah,
you
sure.
have seen me teaching as a volunteer at the university. I've had like speaking courses at the university for free, even though they took it for granted. Trust me, they took it for
I
granted.
understand.
But
Sure,
still,
sure. Yeah.
that doesn't disappoint me. I mean, I still do my best for the people and for the community. But
I
yeah, but still, I mean, that's the question for most of the people. I mean, do people believe in free education? Lots of people think I mean, education shouldn't be
Zana,
for free.
it's not just about free